how I got to the bridge was I worked my way up to the bridge. I didn't walk out onto the bridge and say, I'm the captain. I had to learn all of the aspects of running a vessel and doing the jobs and spending time in that area. I think a lot of people today think that they should just be at that level without all the experience. And you know what I find when they're there, because they're casted there without having all that experience, when there's another cast member that's below them and they know more than them, they're like, whoa, maybe I should step up my game, because they never trained properly. And when you're trained properly, that's where the confidence comes in, that self-confidence, and you're not trying to be someone that you're not. There's no faking it till you make it. You have to learn the skill set.
All right, so we are here with Captain Sandy Yawn, who is a fantastic captain, first of all. You are also just completed your ninth season with Below Deck Mediterranean. One of the things that I'm fascinated with to start is, do you feel you lead differently now than you did when you started, or even pre-Below Deck?
Oh, of course. I mean, when you watch yourself on television, you're like, okay, maybe I should have paused a little longer, should have fired that person sooner. I think I've improved on my pausing and maybe taking a step back and looking at the whole scenario or the situation and then making a decision.
You know, one of the things that's different about TV is you think very carefully about how you hire. In this scenario, they cast for you. So you meet your team as you're getting on the boat. Talk about that, and maybe talk about, first of all, when you are hiring and the cameras are not rolling, what do you hire for?
For me, before Below Deck, I hire the crew based on character and not skill set, because character is something that you can't train someone. They have to want to change, whereas a skill set, you can train them. I would rather have that. I want character over
parts of character, like
loyalty, integrity, showing up on time. That's all part of it, to create that trust between the two of you, or, you know, the team. It is all of those things, being true to your word, having accountability, responsibility. It's character building.
Let's talk about character in your own formative experiences. Tell me a little bit about when you were growing up. What did you want to be?
Well, when I was growing up, I got into drugs and alcohol. So I just wanted to get high all the time. And I got on that merry-go-round, and I was in and out of institutions. I got kicked out of 11th grade. I didn't go to college. And then I got a job because I had to pay all my fines. I started washing boats.
You're smiling, but it sounds very painful.
It was painful, of course. But I was in that crazy loop. And then I finally got sober, and that changed my life. And it was the best day of my life.
Was there a particular reason that made you get sober?
Yes, I just got tired of going to jail. Or, you know, I always wonder, like, NBC got my background check, and I'm like, they still hired me. You know, thank God it wasn't a felony. I just remember every time I walked out of a courtroom, I was like, I could still vote. For me, that meant like I was a part of society. If they took my voting rights away, then I was no longer a part of society. And it was another day. I was on the same, merry-go-round, and I don't know. It just shifted. I went into treatment. I worked at 12 steps. I have a sponsor, and, I do that work, and I live a life beyond my wildest dreams. And that's why I take the time for me first before I could give it to someone else.
Let's go to when you got on to being Captain Sandy. Was there something about that persona that really spoke to you and played to your strengths, do you think? Some of the strengths you developed in your background?
Yes. However, there's another side where I didn't seek leadership. I did not. I just kept doing the work, and this is for the Gen Zs. I kept doing the job really well, and I kept learning more as I went along. And the next thing you know, I got offered a job as a captain. I went to school, right? And then I didn't realize all the responsibilities that come with it. Finance, budgeting, hiring, maintaining. I had no idea. So I just kept learning layer after layer after layer. And I was learning the skill set that I had was preparing me to be a captain of a yacht, right? And it was through all that work that I did. And today, as I call the crew to the bridge, I don't realize the impact of my voice over the radio for them because I don't think like that. I think I'm one of the team. That's how I think. I am part of this team. When I'm handed a team, I go, okay, this is my team. I take the time, I get to know them, and I do my best to invest in them and take time and let them know that I'm invested so they invest in themselves. A lot of people, they don't know how to invest in themselves, but usually the casting's really great because they do have character. And most of those crew have good character because you have to have that in order to be casted. And when they have that and they see, wow, their captain's investing in them and taking the time and asking questions and showing them how to do the job, as simple as washing a boat. The way I wash a boat, because I know how to wash a boat with speed.
Wash a boat with speed.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I love about watching this show is I do feel like it's an exercise in understanding Gen Z.
They come in thinking, well, they want to be here, but without doing the work from here. So how I got to the bridge was I worked my way up to the bridge. I didn't walk out onto the bridge and say, I'm the captain. I had to learn all of the aspects of running a vessel and doing the jobs and spending time in that area. I think a lot of people today think that they should just be at that level without all the experience. And you know what I find when they're there, because they're casted there, without having all that experience, that they see they're in the weeds. And when there's another cast member that's below them and they know more than them, they're like, whoa, maybe I should step up my game, because they never trained properly. And when you're trained properly, that's where the confidence comes in, that self-confidence. And you're not trying to be someone that you're not or do something that you haven't really been trained properly. And that, you're acting as if, which does not carry you to the point of the level.
Fake it till you
No, you cannot. That school of thought needs to go. There's no faking it till you make it. You have to learn the skill set. And people respect that when you do that.
Actually, let's start with Gen Z. What advice do you have for people who are entering the workforce, people who are early in their careers?
Don't have an expectation. Have an expectation of yourself that you are going to show up on time, that you are going to dress properly, and be willing to listen to direction. It doesn't make you less of a person. It makes you more of a person. I still today will ask someone who's my junior, if I don't know something, I'll ask, hey, do you have this experience? And then I'll take whatever they share with me and utilize it. Be a sponge, learn. And I promise you, you'll get to where you want to be.
What advice do you have for leaders?
Leaders, take the time. Train your teams. Take your time. Don't give them a job description and go, here, that's your job. Tell them a few times and off they go. Take the time. Sit with them. Invest in them. Have a lunch with them. Get to know who they are. Find out who's working for you, because it matters. But I also learned this. They don't have to respect me as a person or trust me. It is my job as their leader to earn their respect and trust. That's something that all leaders need to do. You hire them because they have a skill set, right? Or you're going to train them the skill set. You're not hiring them to respect you or trust you. You have to earn that. And that's my job. So I don't think about, oh, I'm your captain. I think we're a team. We're in this boat together. We're probably going to save each other's lives one day. And let's learn this together. We're in it together. And that's how I lead.
A lot of people watching this will know the characters on the season. So who are some of the characters that surprised you on the upside that you feel like, now that person really delighted me?
Yes, Bree from last season. She struggled in laundry. It's so interesting and fascinating. Not everyone's brain learns the same way. Names didn't work for her. I don't know why. Numbers didn't work for her. Color worked for her. What I really loved about Bree, she never gave up. Whatever someone said to her, she did. She tried, and she didn't talk out of both sides of her mouth.
So she's the same to everybody.
She's the same.
What have you learned from meeting leaders, both good and bad? I know we equate sometimes wealth with leadership. They're two different things, but I'm curious what you've learned as you've got into these realms where you're seeing people who are also at the top of their game?
The majority of the people I work for, because they own boats, I don't know why this is, they're finance people. So the first finance guy I worked for, he's the one that really invested in me. He was really hard to work for. I love him very much today. We're like family members, but he was tough. But he taught me marketing, believe it or not, because he was so great at closing deals. And I watched how he did it. So I was like, wow, that's it. It's a finesse, right? And then the other person I worked for owned a bank. He was the most kind, gentle soul I've ever met that founded a bank. He was the best guy I ever worked for.
What made him a great leader?
He took time with us. He sat the entire crew. He didn't single me out. And he said, I want to say everyone did a fabulous job. Every time he went to leave, he sat us all down, him and his wife, and they talked about their trip. And then he would pull me aside and say, okay, let's improve on this. And I'd say, no problem. I got it. So that was the difference.
What about the people who disappoint you? What is it, if you want to name names, go ahead. But
I think when people are, playing both sides of the fence, like I don't really like that. I think just be honest, have integrity. If you're not happy with something, share that. I think people always ask me, Sandy, why it seems so easy? I go, I'm just honest. I don't try to make it up. I don't try to create some scenario in my head. I just tell the truth.
You're in Florida, and I have to say one of the things that's inspiring to my daughter, who's lesbian, and she's in a relationship, is the fact that in this time of backlash, you've been very open and public and living your life with your wife. I think it's very powerful. I mean, talk a bit about that, because I say Florida because it has not been the most warm environment for LGBTQ+.
Right. So for me, when my mom passed away, I saw her in the casket. That was not my mother. It was her soul had left. Her spirit wasn't there. That's when I realized, it hit me. It's just about the soul. It's Leah. That's what I love. I don't live my life for other people. You know, when I got sober, I learned how not to do that. I learned how not to act, as if. I learned to act as I am. This is who I am.
What else is on the horizon for you? When we were sitting at lunch, you showed me this animated action series.
I'm going to show you this because this is something I'm very proud of. And I wanted to always create an animated series.
So it's Captain Sandy and the Ocean Rangers.
I love animation. And so that's an AI. So it's basically like Charlie's Angels, where we have a benefactor and the AI gets the mission. So it's actually for kids. And
like for little, like kind of middle school kids sort of thing.
Yeah.
What's the lesson you're trying
to help, obviously the sea life, also to help each other and don't steal.
Where do you get the most joy right now?
I get the most joy. Every day I wake up, I'm happy. I ask Leah, I open the windows and I go, good morning, world. Like, what's next? I know, right? That's because every day I do the next right thing. I make sure that I don't hurt anyone or, I just try to do the right thing. And so my mornings, I love music. It really sets the tone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Inspiration, and I look forward to seeing the next season.
Thank you.